Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a game called Corepunk. Now, if you guys know anything about me, you know that I'm a huge MMO enjoyer. I don't post MMOs on my main channel because I think making videos on MMOs is very difficult and honestly kind of cringe sometimes because everything has already been discovered by everyone and everyone's playing the same game. So typically, I don't post that kind of content, but my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy XIV. I grew up playing World of Warcraft. I grew up playing RuneScape. I grew up playing tons of other MMOs, Black Desert Online, Aura Kingdom even, right? So I played a ton of MMOs in my life. So when Corepunk offered to sponsor this video, they told me that I could say whatever I wanted about the game. So I'm gonna showcase some of this game to you guys, and if you like it, maybe you can give the game a try. So I was testing this game in a beta version, but now that the game is officially out in early access, you can actually create a brand new character to start from the beginning. That's what we're gonna do, and I'll talk to you guys about the game as we go. So once you get to a character screen, you can choose a sort of like faction or race. It's kind of like your class, but it actually has different subsections for you to choose from and male and female versions of it. So if I want to be a warmonger, if I want to be an orc, I can choose either to be a legionary or I can be a shaman is the second one, and then you can unlock a third one as well. And this applies to every single one of the races and classes in the game. So you can be a ranger, or you can be a destroyer, you can be an infiltrator, or you can be a blast medic. And you also have plenty of other classes as well that are just locked for me on this brand new version, but there's a little bit of something for everybody. Now, this game is meant to be played with friends. If you have friends that can play it, it'll make you a lot safer, and you will see why when I get into the gameplay in just a moment. But if you're going to play the game solo, you can absolutely do that. You just need to pick something a little bit tankier if you want to be super safe. If it's your first playthrough, first character, I recommend being somewhere a little tankier. So we can go ahead and pick legionary here, and we have our abilities. It tells you what the abilities are of each one of these. If we wanted to, we could go shaman, and it would show us the abilities for shaman as well. Shamans deal with totems and lightning spells, and they also have a wolf summon that you can use. I'm gonna go legionary because it's really straightforward. You have a knockback shield bash, you have a catapult, which basically just throws enemies onto other enemies, a spear throw, which is gonna be a ranged move, and you also have an ability called unstoppable, which removes all crowd control effects and basically just makes you a bigger tank. So we're gonna do this because it's safer. So we're just gonna make our character here. I'm gonna be green, with green hair, green lips, and green eyes. Yeah, I think I'll go with Liffy Smug. Change the facial hair. I think we want to go facial hair 8. And whenever you're done creating your character, you can just hop in. You can do different outfits and stuff as well, but we're just gonna hop in there. All right, so here we are in the world of Corepunk, and it does give you a bunch of tutorials if you're new to it. So something you might notice is if you're like a League player, you'll probably notice that the UI looks pretty recognizable, right? This is an overhead game where you actually right-click to move your character, and the combat actually feels very similar to League's combat. So if you like that sort of combat where you can kind of be more dynamic and sort of overhead, it's pretty good for that. But one thing that does make Corepunk very interesting to me is that it actually goes back to a lot of really old MMO standards where you sort of have to figure everything out. This is meant to be sort of like a hardcore MMO, not like permadeath or anything, but it's meant to be something where you don't just get everything handed to you in your handheld the entire time. There is a tutorial, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's not gonna hold your hand the entire time. So as you can see at the bottom of our screen, we can go ahead and pick an ability. I'm just gonna pick Shield Bash. Shield Bash seems like a pretty standard ability to pick. I haven't played Legionary before. I was actually playing a ranged class before. But okay, so now we have this quest, Speak to the Welcoming Specialist. So this is the guy right here. We're gonna talk to him. And then you can go through all of the different options. Do you even know how many laws you broke by coming out of this portal? Yes, absolutely. I break all the laws every single day, all the time. If you're like an MMO player that doesn't really care about all the dialogues, that's totally fine. Some of the dialogues in the game are kind of funny, actually. It reminds me a lot of Borderlands with some of the characters and characterizations and how they talk. But essentially, he's like, okay, go sign up on the newcomer form or whatever. So we're gonna go up north, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the tutorials because we have already played through this game. So here we are up north. As you'll see, there's nothing on our map that indicates where we're supposed to go exactly, right? So we have to just listen to the dialogue and see what he actually says if we want to find out where to go, or we can go to this quest thing. But luckily for us, we don't have to go back to listen to the dialogue. You can actually just click this play button, and it'll just repeat the dialogue to you. So you can be like looking for something, and you're like, I'm not sure where this is. You just go ahead and hit that, and then they'll yap again. But there's a couple different things you can do here right at the camp. You can ask other characters if they need help. If they need help, that's basically how you initiate a quest. So you're just like, yeah, I'm down to help. That's whatever. And we're gonna pick up another quest. He needs 3 wood, so we'll go harvest 3 wood. It's normal, like sort of MMO quest goals. So we can grab this wood real quick. It's right here. We've grabbed all our wood. We go back to him. We talk to him. We turn in our quest. and we get all of these rewards. I'm gonna tell you guys about some of the mechanics in this game because this, I think, is what really differentiates Corepunk from other MMOs right now. So now we're gonna go ahead and go up north to his house. We still have the Brave New World quest, and he's basically like, yeah, there's a newcomer form on the outside table, so grab that, and we'll also pick up this note on the way there because then we can get some items. Collecting in this game is pretty important. Honestly, I'm a bit of a hoarder. I kind of just pick up everything, but inventory management can get a little tough. You do have limited inventory and you can get more pages, but the problem is that, like, you know, it's not instant. If you do hoard everything, you may run out of space here soon. But anyways, you can see on the map, there's a little house up ahead. So we're just gonna go up to that house. And if you want to travel further, you can actually click on the map and it'll just path you straight there. But here is the newcomer form was right there. We grab this. Now we've got the newcomer form. Now we have to meet Zeke's brother in the village. But while we're here at the house, we might as well check out a couple more things. We're just gonna keep looting, see if there's anything in any of the fridges, trash cans, any of the things that we can open. And those will sometimes give you either quest items if you have a quest that's ready for that, or just craftable items as well. We can go dumpster diving like Stella and Kalis. It's very familiar and comfy. So what I was saying earlier about this game being a little bit more hardcore, first off, it's the quest, but second off, it's your HP regen and your energy, your mana regen. It's a little bit slow for my liking. And I'm gonna be completely honest, guys, I don't think it's the best system if you want to get some new players in who have never tried this sort of game before. I think they're aiming to get some MMO players that have maybe not found a game they were interested in playing in a while other than their main MMO. And like, I know plenty of my friends who played like WoW have taken breaks for a while, so I think they're sort of trying to find an audience in people that are looking for a more hardcore experience. However, I do think it feels pretty slow at the beginning, and I do think that it detracts from it a little bit, but for some people this is pretty nice. But anyway, so we need to meet Zeke's brother, so we're gonna go to the village, and the village is going to probably be up here in Goldenfield Town. So we're gonna go ahead and go towards that. By the way, the map is pretty dang big. I struggled to even get across the whole thing. So I definitely don't think you're gonna be lacking for things to do. But maybe I can go ahead and find something to fight just to give you guys a bit of an example. Okay, here we are. So we are at Small Mutant Rat, level 2. This guy's actually high level than me. You basically just use your abilities like you would in a game, like if you played League of Legends. And you can also kite if you're a ranged character. You can kite just to make sure that you're taking less damage. But we're just gonna fight this rat. Then when the rat's dead, that's that. You have sort of like this extra like ultimate middle ability that you can use every little bit. The requirements for it are different for every single character, but if you're in combat, you will see that ability go up. When I was playing the ranged class, the one with the bow and arrow, you did get it pretty frequently, like once every 4 or 5 hits, and then you would get an extra arrow shot. But okay, I'm missing a little bit of HP. So here's where the hardcore bit comes in. My HP is not regenning. It's 303 and it's not getting better, right? Like, it is sitting there taking its sweet time regenning. The reason is because it's not actually gonna regen. The way you regenerate HP is a couple different ways. You can either eat food that has health regen on it, or you can set up a campfire or go sit by a campfire that's already out. So we're setting up a campfire here. And if we go over here and we right click it, we can sit down and we'll recover HP relatively quick, but even then it's pretty dang slow, guys. Like, you can see it's just barely ticking up and up and up. In my opinion, this takes way too long, and I really hope they speed up this process, because it's one thing to be sort of hardcore, but it's another to be tedious, and I think that this can waste a lot of time that not every single player of an MMO has. So for me, I don't really care for the HP regen being super slow at the campfire. I would rather that be really fast or just make things heal more over time, but I can also understand how that could upset the balance. So, you know, it's the dev's vision and all that. But here we are at more rats. So if you want to sort of level up in this game, in my opinion, the best thing to do is quests, but quests can also be a little difficult. And the reason is because, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't always give you like a quest marker or an objective or anything. There is one quest where you have to fix some broken pipes up in the village. And when you go to fix the broken pipes, you have to search chests or barrels or some sort of openable overworld item for them. And it took me probably 3 hours before I found the right barrel that actually could give the item. Now, that could just be bad RNG, but I feel like things like that, even just having a circle on the map where you're supposed to be looking, would be super helpful, because you can have a hardcore thing without necessarily like holding someone's hand to it. And for me, I do prefer a more streamlined experience where I can see like, okay, here's the yellow AoE where everything is on the map. But for those who do like the more hardcore experience where you kind of have to find everything yourself, this will give you plenty of things to do, right? So, okay, we have made it to town, which is super cool. There are a ton of NPCs here. And once you see the NPCs, they do get marked on your map. So the NPCs won't disappear. As you can see, if we zoom in, you can see all the NPCs that we've met so far. This becomes super helpful for quests later on, and you'll have to use your sort of exploration to be able to locate where to turn in things like items and quests and where to find things to farm. So whenever you find NPCs, if you're just questing, you're just trying to level up, basically I would recommend just going and asking them if they need help, and if they do, you just pick up the quest, and that's that. Let's go ahead and turn in our quest to Zeke's brother. So Zeke's brother is over here. It's gonna be Zug, and we can go ahead and turn this in. Next, and we get some rewards, XP, and all of that. We're almost level 2, and once we get to level 2, we can actually choose another ability. Speaking of skills, so you have talents and weapon masteries. Now your talents are gonna be actual stat bonuses that you can get on your character, and you can sort of spec this way. So you have Hunter plus 10% attack speed, Assassin, 5% physical, magic crit chance, etc. It just kind of goes down the list, and you can sort of spec into something to optimize your class and how you want to play. But you also have weapon masteries, and these weapon masteries are going to basically be upgrades to your abilities as you sort of get them, with major abilities up ahead. Once you've completed both of these trees, you can grab this one, Resilient Vigor. Once you've completed both of these trees, you can grab Sacrifice Protection. And there's also Shaman and Commando weapon masteries as well. Ideally, your goal in Corepunk is to take your character and go explore the world. You want to pick up quests, you want to level up your character, find gear, equip your gear, level up your classes, level up your skills like cooking, for example, which will help you survive a lot more in the overworld without stopping for campsites as much, and progress in the world as the levels get higher as you move on in the map, because the map does expand fairly far, and we're just in this little subsection of it right now. But over time as well, because it's a live service game, they are going to be expanding the map, which is very nice. And as proof I wasn't just bullshitting you guys earlier, there is a quest here. I'm going to talk to this guy real quick, and he's going to tell me to go fix the pipes. I did literally do this quest. I'm not bullshitting you guys. I played this game. So you have to go turn off the water supply, and then you have to go loot the something to find some pipes, which again, it took me hours to find the actual right place. It was a little frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. But I do like how you can kind of just interact with the world by like running around and looting things. You walk on a watermelon, it has a chance to split up and give you a slice of watermelon, which you can pick up and is now food. Now I have watermelon, which is cool. And if I want to slot my watermelon to be easily accessible, I can add it to one of my F keys over here on my right hotbar. And then down here, you have your weapons and sort of upgrades. Like I said, this game does feel very similar to League of Legends to me, which League isn't my favorite game. I really can't get into it as much as I can with shooters, but I do like MMOs, and I think this is an interesting take on an MMO to try and be very unique in its own right, and I think they did a really great job. As an isometric open world MMORPG, it manages to blend MMORPGs, MOBAs, and ARPGs together, and they also do have PvE and PvP type game modes, which is going to be really nice for people that want to get a break from PvE or PvP and just go switch it up, you know? When I was growing up, I loved MMO PvP, but nowadays I'm kind of more on the chill side, and I'm more like, all right, I just want to go raid with my friends and go defeat enemies that are powerful and loot things. Another interesting thing about Corepunk is that it actually has seasons that are sort of delivering different stories as the seasons go on. So as time goes on, you'll find new stories to follow, and it'll constantly be getting updates. But what I like about the stories and the quests in this game is if you pay attention to the dialogue, some of it's actually really funny. You have some people that are just like horribly rude, and some people that are just plain stupid. And you just get to interact with these people as they like say things that a normal person you're talking to probably wouldn't say. Like I said, it reminds me of Borderlands. I love it. There's also no pay to win in Corepunk. It is a buy to play game, but they don't have elements of like, oh, I can just swipe here and then get a bunch of stuff and then clown on all the free to play players. There is none of that. You don't have to worry about that. The store is solely cosmetic items if you want to participate in that. The in-game store is solely cosmetic items, so if you're worried about that, don't be. It's not going to be something that affects your gameplay. Early access for Corepunk just launched on November 26th with 3 unique biomes, 3 fully voiced episodes of story, 6 classes, and 12 world bosses, and they have plans to add more and more and more. They're actually aiming for a full 1.0 release by the end of 2025. So this isn't a huge ambitious project, but they are doing a great job so far with creating such a unique game. This MMO is something unlike any other MMO I've ever played before. So if you guys want to check it out, make sure to click the link down below. The game isn't a full priced game either. It's $36 US for the base game, or you can get the deluxe with a helmet and bike themed mount skin, the ultimate, which has the base game, a helmet, a spider throne themed mount skin, or the ultimate plus package for those of you guys who really love cosmetics. It gives you the base game, a helmet skin, and 2 mount skins from the other packages. So you basically just get everything all in that one. As a longtime MMO enjoyer, if you like MMO gameplay, if you like the social aspect of MMOs, and if you like playing with your friends, conquering bosses, and gearing up and grinding and all those sorts of things, Corepunk has all of that, but in its own unique style, sort of similar to other games that aren't MMOs you may have played in the past. It just merged them all together, and you get Corepunk. If you're interested, I do have a link down in the description. You guys can try it out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.